Listen up, all day family. It's Brett and Lofa talking Seahawks football, looking towards the matchup with the Miami Dolphins, but coming off that huge win with the New England Patriots, who I think are better than a lot of people gave them credit for to start this season. Lofa, how you feeling coming off the Patriots win, but going into this Dolphins game?
Just on top of the world, brother. Undefeated. Is that good?
Well, I don't know. Not according to ESPN, but we'll get to that. Yeah.
How dare they? No,
man.
but I got up early today, played some basketball, won every game, just like our Seahawks. So it's just a trend around these parts.
Life is good in Seattle right now as a Seahawk fan. However, there's a backup quarterback coming to town, so a dark cloud could be on the horizon. I'm not sure.
Giving us trouble in the past.
Yeah, at least that dark cloud's name is not Colt McCoy.
Man, yeah. Every time we played him, you called it, partner, and so hopefully it doesn't. Lightning doesn't strike twice.
Dude gives me nightmares. But our pass rush is, I think, number one in the NFL in pressures and up there in sacks. I mean, coming off week 2, getting after Jacoby Brissett. So I'm just honestly, I'm pumped to just see how this defense is going to line up against the Dolphins and what could be a high-powered offense if the quarterback can give them the ball. But just based on what we did in 2 weeks, I'm just looking forward to this one.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. And, how we've always talked, the game within the game, not just the individual matchup player-wise, but a McDaniel-led offense versus a McDonald-led defense. It's high-powered and then high pressure, so something's got to give.
Big back matchup.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Put it in the headlines. Dude, Dolphins. You ever played the Dolphins?
Yeah, 2008, I believe.
Mm-hmm. How'd that go?
Not awesome, Brett.
Oh, really? I don't remember. I'm not asking a leading question. I don't actually remember.
I wish I didn't remember, but if you want my memories, so we were not very good that year. And, the Dolphins, they were actually surging. That was the year where they brought the Wildcat. Was it Tony Sperano? He used Ricky Williams and Ronnie Brown and just gave people fits. And so the two memories I have was Ricky Williams came off a 3-year hiatus of, finding himself. Kudos to Ricky. He's a plant advocate just like myself. But the guy came back 25 pounds lighter, faster and stronger, it seemed. And
how do you get back 25 pounds lighter when you're smoking all that cheap?
Dude, he's yoga. He was living the yogi life
out there, but
right, probably intermittent fasting. He was really just dialing it in, and and so we thought, all right, the guy lost 25 pounds. No way he still has it. And the 25 pounds, he gained speed, even more speed, which is a scary thought. But I think he had 100+ yards on like 10 carries, and we were just grateful they didn't hand it off to him more. But the best story of this is one of the players from the Dolphins got cut, right? And I don't know if we picked him up or, just stories get out there that they got some trick plays coming. And so one of our boys got the information, inside intel.
Uh-huh.
The 2 plays they scored on were they were the exact 2 plays that they told were coming. And I was like, there's no fucking way that just happened.
Why weren't you able to stop it?
Well, it's not like they tell you when they're going to run them. It's just like they always have wrinkles in it. It wasn't exactly like we were told, but like I sat there and I was like, damn, like the 2 plays that they said were in the playbook.
Should have seen it coming.
Got us.
Hey, on this episode, are the Seahawks contenders or pretenders? What can be done about the so far offensive line? Also, Sam Marcoux from the Perfectville podcast on the Believe Sports Network will be joining us. And then also a Seahawks player to be named later. Fill in the blank here. Maybe we can edit that in later. We haven't found out yet. But also our look around the league, and we'll get into everything that's been going on in the NFL. Tons of juicy storylines this early in the season already. But Lofa, what do the Seahawks need to do specifically to remain undefeated?
Good question. We go on either side of the ball here, or just overall in terms of
what are Lofa's 5.1 keys to the game?
5.1. I think just, you're returning home after a long trip. We got to check into the injury report and see, because we really need Kenneth Walker back. And this is, I love Sharps, and I think he'll find his rhythm and everything. I think what I'm also looking for is maybe some more or unique things to happen in terms of play calling, different styles of runs for Sharps specifically.
Yeah.
I don't love sitting out of the shotgun, and we didn't do it all the time, but it was enough where you don't get the momentum with a big, strong running back like Sharp. So that's what I'd like to see change for him. And then, K9, he adds a different element, that has to scare other defenses. But even chipping with the tight ends, right, to help the offensive line that you said. That I think, that's something we've seen in the past that really it's worked and gotten us a lot of, short checkdowns that have gone to 12, 15 yards, probably on average. It was really, think about the Lions game like a year ago where they did that. It was just very, very cool to see that kind of strategy. That's what I always look for, the strategy, brother.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. What would be your game plan going into this one? Because, we had K9 in game 1, so they lean on him heavy. If you don't have him in game 2 or 3, you lean on Geno, which last week, that's just fine by me.
Yeah.
So is it the same sort of game plan this week?
No, I think, if we don't have Kenneth Walker, we'll have to mix in Mac, who was the preseason MVP. Yes. Right? Your boy, the one you've been saying, let's go. And I'm on board with it because he's a receiving threat. His speed is just very, very dynamic. And so, and then, Sharps, he had 14 carries, and he had 5 or so checkdowns or completions as a touch. So he had a lot of work, and I think just spelling him and giving them a change of pace is a big thing. And then,
maybe it's pass pro though too, right? Like maybe Mac isn't as sturdy on pass protection because Sharps, and in the meantime, between our last live and now, I've been seeing clips on Twitter, on the internet, whatever, stepping up and providing some time for Geno there. And so I don't think we gave him enough credit, honestly, on the live for what he did in pass protection, helping out.
No, you're right. Dude's a beast. I would have made a hell of a linebacker out of Sharps. I'll tell you that right now. Wish I looked like Sharps, but so stepping up, and maybe that's why we haven't seen as much, because the game, like you said, did go very pass heavy because we needed it. Not a lot to be had on the ground. So great observation, my friend.
Thanks, buddy. So the offensive line, I mean, chipping with the tight ends, all that kind of stuff. All I know is, man, we got to move some people and just start pushing people around. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it could even just be like gap trap, which when I say that, what the Patriots did to us was use pullers. And when the pullers happen, especially if they are a really aggressive defense like we are, now, you have to adjust your course and get over the top of those. Otherwise, you get creased. And, it's just tough duties. I saw Dodson take on a blocker. He smashed him. But right there, I would have liked to see him use his quicks. And, that's what, you need to do when you're in a one-on-one like that.
What do you, O-line, dude, you went against arguably one of the best offensive lines of all time. Yeah. What was it like to go against those guys every day?
Hell. Quite honestly, brother, 2 Hall of Famers, a Pro Bowler and Robbie Tobeck. And then I've said it with Chris Gray and Sean Locklear. They should have made Pro Bowls as well. And so it was very disheartening. I thought I made a big mistake leaving college early. And I was like, man, you know what? Maybe I'm not ready for this. Because I'm about this life, but holy shit, I've got like 2 tackles and 3 practices, and I'm used to a couple more than that.
Yeah, no kidding. Back to K9 for a second. Also, he's on the injury report, of course, did not practice. He's got the oblique. Have you had an oblique, and what is that injury, and what's that like?
Dude, it's terrible. I had it against Philly. It was turned out to be best game of my life, but it wasn't because it was a torn oblique. It just worked out that way. It's very painful. It's different for everybody, because it's really one of those pain tolerance things. And like I could see where it would be very tough for a running back. All the twisting and motions, it's not awesome. But for a linebacker, hat in hands, even all the physical stuff didn't hurt, but it was turning, like cutting on a dime and going the other direction. But you know what? God gave me 2, so I just used the other one.
Oh, man. Well, we got to stick to the air then, and go with Geno and look at the receivers. But if I'm mentioning the air, then I should mention that you guys need to go with the flow. Go with the throw. Excuse me.
Either one. I like both.
Yeah. Go with the throw. You can earn 1 mile for every Seahawks passing yard this season with Delta 12 status. Sign up and start earning miles at 12status.com. That's 12, then the word status.com. Open to legal residents of Washington, must be 18 years or older. How about DK going against Jalen Ramsey, an old familiar matchup in the air there this Sunday?
Yeah. I think this tilt favors DK. Just being younger and just an absolute specimen. And he looks forward to these matchups. He went against the highest paid corner in Surtain week 1. Another good, worthy adversary with Gonzalez. And so he's looking forward to this one. I know that for sure, especially with their history, right?
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm looking for DK to have that Megatron game, man. And who better to do it against than a guy like Ramsey? The battles in the past when he was on the Rams were just, legendary. There was the game-winning catch 2 seasons ago, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this one's like a WWE or like a heavyweight, matchup. So this one's going to be fun. I think, that's where my eyes will be on most plays.
Clash of the Titans. It was like when I was coaching, I got to watch Richard Sherman and Brandon Marshall like just duke it out. And it was tough for me to not just keep watching that matchup. Of course, I was in the booth way up there, so I was watching through binoculars. But they were going back and forth. And I think Brandon had 100+ and a touchdown, and Sherm had 2 interceptions, almost had a third. It was I don't know who won that battle. It was we won the game. So, but it was just epic.
Who's on the other side for them? Like, who's going against JSN and Lockett and the other guys?
Oh man, the rest of them, because it's gonna be. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a one-on-one, and then hey, kind of like Deion Sanders. Hey, you got that guy, and we got the rest. Is how they did it. But yeah, I really don't know, and we got into this the last 2 shows. It's like I don't know how you plan for this offense if K9's going to, or the run game's going. Okay, you double DK. Now you got 2 guys in JSN and Locke that can kill zone coverage, and then also they can still burn man. So it's good luck.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Breaking news, Katie. Who do we get?
We get Coby Bryant.
Coby Bryant will be sitting down. So get your questions ready for Coby coming up later on the show. How about the guy who's throwing DK and the receivers the ball, though? Geno, we love him around here, but for some reason he's still underrated around the league, and people don't give him his respect, flowers, compliments.
Yeah.
Why? When will they start? They asked DK about this. DK almost got offended at the podium. Just saying, like, did you say underrated?
Yeah.
Underrated, by the way, is not as bad as everybody thinks it is. It means that you're really good. It's just that people aren't talking about you. But
it's partner. It's a respect factor, right?
Okay,
like,
sure. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And I'm just saying, as a former player, it's like, he's done enough to earn the respect. You look at the numbers; they flashed up there that he's had the most game-winning drives over the last 2 years, right? And he just does it again. So, I think really the problem here is when you come into the league, depending on where you're drafted, which he was drafted fairly early, like there's a lot of expectations placed upon you. And things did not go how they were supposed to go in terms of everybody's opinion, right? Because they saw all the yards at West Virginia, all the touchdowns, everything. He was that next guy. And so when it didn't happen, and then 8-9 years later, he finally gets his chance, and it's just that stigma carries with you. It's almost like the opposite for a first rounder, right? They get every chance in the world, no matter how many teams, teams just keep offering them like, nah, I can bring that dog out of him that was there. Well, Geno got that dog, and I'm telling you, the kid's been through hell, and I can't wait for him to, fully embrace this moment and keep build on the momentum.
It's just weird. And as a Seahawks fan, it feels disrespectful to us too, though, the way that the national media or whatever you want to call it treats him. Because, a guy like Sam Darnold, no offense to your Trojan here, but like what has he really done? Comes out, wins 2 games. Everybody's just slobbering all over him. Or like a guy like Derek Carr, he's been around forever. What's he ever really done? Oh, he comes out, wins 2 games. Everyone's like, Derek Carr could be the MVP. Where is the love for Geno, who's been doing it for 3 years?
Amen, brother. Shout out to those 2 guys, because one's a Trojan, and then the other one just seems like a great dude. Yeah, okay. He seems like that guy.
Let's start seeing Geno getting those headlines. How about our pass rush? Pass rush. My kingdom for a pass rush. It's here. It's finally here. We lead the league in pressures. We're getting to the quarterbacks. I think we even have a graphic. I love it. And Boye Mafe, is leading the charge, and he's awesome. And I can't even imagine what it'll be when Chenna comes back.
Was that Boye's Mafia? Is that where you're going with that? Should we start the shirts for that one?
Yes.
That's a bad dude. And just Boye is a guy that could have 12 plus sacks a year. I go back and look at, some of the missed opportunities where he's first on the scene and, flushes the quarterback out the other way and someone else capitalizes on it. But even just against Denver, when Nick's rolled out, he left his feet. These are just little tiny things that he can fix. And like now, he leaves the game with 2+ sacks. But the pressure's always there. I thought Derek Hall looked great. Leonard got to be the MVP so far. Only 2 games, but so disruptive. Jay Reed still strong in the trenches. Murph pushing the pocket.
Yep.
Dude. When Chenna gets back, it's going to be real scary.
I saw something where Tua was getting rid of the ball in like 2.6 seconds or something like that, and Skylar Thompson gets rid of it in 3.08. So hopefully he does hold on to it that extra little bit and they could get there.
It's a huge difference for those guys up front, man.
Yeah. The defense is playing great. I mean, everyone's praising the defense, but from your eye and the way that you see it, are there any improvements they could make, and what are those areas?
Just a little more consistency in terms of, think and run first, because we have the secondary to match up with anyone. We're going to get tested this week with their receivers, right? But just a little more urgency to the run. And like I said, I wasn't, upset with the tackling. There was like 1 or 2 that could have been had, but other than that, it wasn't just blatant misses like we've seen in the past. So I'm still encouraged there, but yeah, pleasantly surprised, man. They're going strong.
Well, what would you do against Hill and Waddle? Like, you have guys follow them. Who are those guys? I mean, how do you play them?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would put Spoon on Hill, and just I would play it straight up. Like I would say, hey, we're gonna test our guys, right, and see what we got. And I would put Woolen, on Waddle. And so I think those are the matchups that I would, really like to see, and how we challenge them and how they challenge us, and to see what we're really made of. So I wouldn't add any extra, safety over the top, which could be, maybe that's a dumb decision by me, but I don't have to make that call, luckily. But I'd like to see that and dedicate to the run, because if A-Chain gets a slither or a glimpse of open space,
right,
I don't know, he's got the speed to go the distance. And so right now, just challenge the receivers and maybe put an extra defender in that box right away, because we're going against a quarterback that we don't know, and we're going to find out. Make him beat us. Don't make H&, who's, man, he's got 46 touches over the first 2 weeks, like the most probably in the league. And so it's like, dude, maybe Ramondre Stevens is the only guy that has more. The guy we saw last week. But this guy, if he sees the open field, he's gone.
Well, who gets the first pick?
The first interception?
Yeah, who's going to pick off Thompson first?
I'm going to go Julian Love. He's just always in the right position, always in the right spot. And like with Spoon, if we're playing man, like Spoon and Wolin, if they're, how I would call it, if they're really engaged in that matchup, they're not going to have a lot of opportunities to look back at the ball unless they're in zone.
Good point. I'm going to take Dotson to sneak under one.
Well, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I just said he's been hunting. He's been close a couple times.
Oh, yeah. You had one hit him right in the hands against Denver. And then in preseason, he had one hitting him in the hands. So he's always in the right position. We might need to do some more ball drills, hit the jugs machine.
Why do we struggle against backup quarterbacks historically? And do teams take backup quarterbacks lightly, maybe, even though they would tell you they don't, and they'd say all the right things, but is there sort of a subconscious taking it lightly?
No, I don't think so. I think you kind of make them try to beat you. You're like, all right, put the ball in their hands. I'm like, let's see if he's got what it takes, especially short week or preparation, short notice. So I think that's kind of the mentality. And every now and then someone rises to the occasion and does it, like Colt McCoy did twice.
Several times.
With two different teams. With
our hearts. Oh, good to see him retire. I mean, great career, but when he was out. All right. Bye.
He's actually a great commentator. I listened to the other day, but we're both of those games were in Seattle, weren't they?
Yes, dude. When I saw Tua go down, I knew we were playing Miami. I was just worried they're going to bring him out of the booth.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Seahawks fans would freak out, man. Oh boy. He's the Grim Reaper of backup quarterbacks for us. Hey, everybody listening on the podcast, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back to talk about the ESPN and the contender versus pretender thing. Just a second. Hey, Lofa, did you see this thing on ESPN where after 2 weeks they're naming contenders and pretenders? The Seahawks are 2-0. They, by the way, are also being disrespected in the power rankings. They're not even in the top 10.
Yeah.
But then ESPN goes further and calls them a pretender. Is that a deal or no deal?
That's going to be a no for me, dog. I don't understand it. I don't understand the hate, right? So the power rankings, I think we're somewhere around 19. And there's like several, I think we're one of only 9 teams left that are 2-0. And
they get the Niners at 2. They're 1-1. Get out of here.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, what? Who makes these things? Because I got a bone to pick with them. But blatant disrespect, and I just, I think though McDonald and the boys would like to fly under the radar, and that's just added incentive and motivation to just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, totally. That's what I'm thinking. Keep writing them off, because you know what Geno would say to that.
Nothing, because he doesn't write back.
Yeah, I think ESPN does have the Seahawks at 10 in the power rankings. The Niners, let's see, they're at 3. Yeah, excuse me. But dude, we're should be higher than that. I think to their point, like, who we beat Bo Nix, we beat the Patriots, even though I think that win it will be better than anyone thought it would be by the end of the season. And then of course, whatever happens here with a backup quarterback with the Dolphins. So, I kind of get the point, but the disrespect is real and it's disrespectful. Yeah.
I mean, if we come out and win this game, they're going to say it was a backup quarterback and they'll drop us on the rankings, right? And it's the second week of the season. No one has any idea their true identity or who they are. Yeah. Do we have, who's on this? Is it McNeil on this stat? Where are the Saints and the Cowboys? Because I want to know where they're at.
Yeah, we'd have to look into that. Everybody's just falling all over themselves for the Saints and the Vikings.
Well, the Vikings, that defense looks crazy. Saints at 9. I mean, they killed both teams they played. And
they beat the Cowboys on the road.
Yeah, in their house.
Yeah.
Wait, are the Cowboys are higher than us?
No, they're
it depends. It depends on which site you look at, though, because NFL.com had us at 19.
ESPN has the Cowboys at 14. So I don't know. Do you even put stock in these lists? Do players look at these lists?
No, we never look at these things, and I never did, at least, because it doesn't matter. Like, you don't know who's who until at least the second month of the season, and then you're kind of like, I mean, that really, by then, you know who's a quality opponent and who isn't.
Yeah. Hey, if you want to go look at the Seahawks in person and get a view of them yourselves, you guys can get seats with epicseats.com. Local Seattle company, doing it well for years and supporting us for years. So please go support them, whether you're buying or selling seats. Maybe you have some Seahawk tickets, but you, for some reason, can't go this weekend. Maybe one of your, annoying friends scheduled a wedding. Or, something like that. I mean, I can't imagine what I might be talking about. Maybe you need to offload some seats. EpicSeats.com. Also, Lofa, we have seats to give away. We have 2 tickets to this game with the Dolphins. If you want to win those seats, simply go follow us on Instagram. It's at All Day Family. We will pick from the followers at random and get in touch and try to see if you can go to the game this weekend. So all you got to do, go to Instagram, search All Day Family. That's All Day Family, all spelled out. Give it a follow, and we'll pick someone to go to the game. How easy is that?
Sounds pretty awesome. We'll be there. Maybe you'll see us.
All right. Yeah, yeah. We should organize a group selfie.
I'm in.
Hey, let's put a pause on this thing, and then we'll be back with Sam Marcoux from the Perfectville podcast with the Dolphins to get the Dolphins' perspective on this game. Well, actually, I mean, we got a big matchup coming up this week, but I was going to start with the week 1 bizarre Tyreek Hill, terrible situation, and sort of get your thoughts on that, what you thought when you saw that go down, and what's been going on with that since.
Yeah, so I mean, we're into week 3, but it's been 2 weeks of football, and the Miami Dolphins have made national headlines, not for sports, but for things outside of sports. And both times it's been quite disturbing. One, an injury, and of course, Tyreek Hill. I mean, that whole situation, when we first heard about it, didn't realize how disturbing it was at first. I mean, the original reports is that he was going like 120 miles per hour. That's not the case. He was going 15 miles per hour over the speed limit, which, quite frankly, we all do that. Could he have handled himself a little bit better in terms of his interactions with the cops? Yes. I mean, he's come out and said that, but I mean, it was just an absolute bizarre, disturbing, and really, really bad look for the police down there. I think for Tyreek, this is my opinion. I think for Tyreek and his teammates, it was a moment early in the season to galvanize themselves and say, we're part of the same team. I mean, I think about what Greg Camarillo, my co-host, said, former Miami Dolphins wide receiver. Calais Campbell's a brand new guy to the Miami Dolphins. He pulls over, gets out, is supporting his teammate. I mean, I don't know what happens the rest of the year with Calais Campbell to Miami Dolphins, but he's teammate of the year. And that's happening before the first game of the season, to sit down and be there for your guy. Jonnu Smith was there as well. Tyreek calling out to him saying, please don't leave. I mean, that, to me, I think there's, take everything that happened in that situation off the table and just think about the team. I think there's actually a lot of bonding that could have happened between Tyreek and those other teammates that stopped and helped him out. And the rest of the team sees that. And I think they're going to need that, especially given what happened in week 2 with Tua Tagovailoa. They're going to need to lean on the fact that they're in this together, that they are the Miami Dolphins. It's not Tyreek Hill and the rest of the team or anything like that. So there could be some positives from a team perspective that come out of this, but in that bubble of what happened right there in that moment, I mean, I can't even put words to it. I can't justify it from my position on the West Coast as a white male versus a black male getting pulled over by the cops and everything that you see in those videos. So very disturbing in my opinion.
Yeah. Sam Marcoux is our guest. He's joining us. He's from the Perfectville podcast on the Believe Sports Network. His co-host, Greg Camarillo, as he mentioned, they're talking Dolphins all the time. Tua, that's the other big headline there. We could talk about, your thoughts when the injury went down and sort of what has happened since, but then also what's going to happen at quarterback this weekend.
Oh, I'm expecting nothing less than 470 through the air by Skylar Thompson, maybe 5 touchdowns.
Bold prediction.
Yeah. That might be by the way. No, I was watching that game like everyone else, and the play happens. In my opinion, again, I'm not a medical expert. It didn't seem like a hit. I don't know if it happened when he collided with Damar Hamlin from the Buffalo Bills or when he actually landed and hit his head on the turf. Either way, it's almost irrelevant. The fact that he's hurt again and he's susceptible to these brain injuries is equally disturbing for different reasons than what we just talked about with Tyreek Hill and the police down in South Florida. Look, first and foremost, and I have to say it, the thoughts go out to Tua and his family. He's got 2 kids. He's married. He's a family man. Whatever he decides to do, and that's fine by me. I mean, football is a big part of all of our lives. We're sitting here talking about it here, but it's not his entire life, and he's got an entire life to live, and he's gonna have to make the call that's right for him, whatever that is. That being said, again, shout out to Greg Camarillo. This is not only a medical decision and a Tua Tagovailoa decision. This is going to be a Miami Dolphins decision too. I mean, they just gave him $53 million a year to go play quarterback, and he has proven all the way back through college that he can't stay healthy for one reason or another: the hip, the ankle, the concussions. He's only played 1 full season in the pros. So the Miami Dolphins have to make a decision as well as to not only to protect Tua, but to protect themselves long-term from a business standpoint. So it's going to be an interesting roller coaster going forward. Obviously, he's on IR for the next 4 games, eligible to come back against the Arizona Cardinals, which I would imagine that's when he's going to come back unless these concussion symptoms continue to linger. For the Miami Dolphins, somebody else other than Skylar Thompson's going to have to lead that huddle. It's probably going to be Tyreek Hill. He is the vocal leader. He's going to have to be the actual leader on offense now. Skylar Thompson, I hope this week they just gave him the playbook, and I hope he just opened it up and it's pictures of Trent Dilfer in a Baltimore Ravens uniform. Like, this is all you need to do. Turn around, hand the ball off. Hopefully the defense can do what they got to do, but just be Trent Dilfer. That's what we're looking for the next 4 games. You're Trent Dilfer. And if he goes, but what about Scatback Ernie Wright? No, Trent Dilfer.
Just see former Seahawk legend also. All right.
There it is.
Lofa, what do you make of that?
But I mean, what I make of it, are you saying that the defense is up to, that standard of Baltimore defense? Because
did you see them hold the Buffalo Bills to 31 points through 3 quarters, Lofa? I mean, that's a stout defense if I've ever seen one. No, look, I will say this. I think the Buffalo Bills are an outlier. Anytime you look at stats, I don't care if it's sports or anything else, there's always like that one that's either really, really good or really, really bad. You got to throw that out. The Buffalo Bills, you almost have to throw out when it comes to the Miami Dolphins. They have owned us for far too long. It's very disgusting. As a kid who grew up in the 90s, I hate Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed and James Lofton and Kent Hull, the center. Yes, I know who the center was on those 90s Buffalo Bills teams. I hate all of them, and I'm not afraid to say it. I just absolutely hate the Buffalo Bills. I detest them. So the fact that they beat us again is absolutely disgusting to me. But I'm going to throw that out. I'm going to look at the Jacksonville Jaguars game. Not a great offensive performance for the Miami Dolphins, but they held the Jaguars, who have a lot of weapons, to 17 points and shut them out in the second half of that game. So I do think there's some pride for the Miami Dolphins. You have Jalen Ramsey. You've got Jalen Phillips. All the Jalens are in the Miami Dolphins team right now. But Jalen Phillips came back a freak of nature. I mean, he tore his Achilles less than 300 days ago, and he's coming out getting sacks, game-winning sacks against the Jacksonville Jaguars in that game. Calais Campbell's a veteran. He's been there on the losing side and the winning side. They have some pieces on defense. Javon Holland, another guy from the Pacific Northwest out of Oregon. They have some pride. I don't think they like what happened to them against Buffalo and James Cook just taking our lunch money up and down the field. He's still running right now, actually. So, no, they're not the Baltimore Ravens, Lofa, not even close, but I do think they're going to come out fired up. They also know that their leader is down, and it's going to be up to them on some level to minimize the amount of pain that the Miami Dolphins are going to endure against offenses right now and try to keep it close if they're going to have a shot at winning this game with Skylar Thompson at quarterback.
If you guys can't tell, Sam Marcoux is also a comedian as well as hosting the Perfectville podcast.
Well,
Lofa,
you got a guy we're familiar with up here, Jordan Brooks. How's Brooksy looking?
Oh, Brooks is looking fantastic. He's smaller than I remember watching him. He looks a little smaller, but I think linebackers in general are smaller right now because the way these offenses are. You've got to be out there. You got to be able to cover, a wide receiver 3 or 4. So I think these linebackers, are getting a little bit smaller. I mean, he's not a small guy. Trust me. I remember the last time I was in Seattle, I went to a game. That was the game where I was actually doing comedy up there at the Seattle Underground. I don't think it's around anymore. It was, I think, week 1, week 2, something like that. And Ryan Tannehill throws a bomb, I believe, to Kenny Stills. And I turned around and I am talking trash to every 12th man that I possibly could. And then they all start cheering. I'm like, that's really odd because we just scored a touchdown. And then I turned around and realized he dropped the ball. And then we lost by like 6 points. And I was like, wow, wonderful. But I remember being on the field next to like Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas before the game. And these are safeties. These are defensive backs. And I'm like, okay, they're smaller guys. I was sadly mistaken. I mean, these guys were massive human beings. So when I say Jordan Brooks is smaller, that's compared to other ginormous, gigantic men playing football. Not
what numbers are you wearing down there?
He's 20, I believe.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say some of these linebackers now are wearing the single digits, which I think makes them sort of look smaller than they are.
Yeah,
you see a big 55 or 54 coming at 51 coming at you.
That's a good point. You got like Rashid Shaheed in New Orleans wearing 22, catching 80-yard bombs. You're like, why is Reggie Bush out there? And you know what is happening?
If Tua has to be out for longer or something, you know, and obviously not rooting for that, but just if something like that happens, who should they go get?
Well, I mean, I was on Mad Dog Sports Radio last week right after it happened, and I think a good story. I don't know if he's a good fit. I mean, Ryan Tannehill is out there. He spent many years for the Miami Dolphins. He can't wear 17. Sorry, Jalen Waddle's got that. But he's a guy that can come in, and at least Miami Dolphins fans from that perspective would be like, oh, cool, the guy's coming home, you know. And then we get the sports reporters telling us and reminding us that he used to play wide receiver in college because they say that every time he's playing. Pie in the sky, it will not happen. But there's a part of me, a small part of me, that wants to see Tom Brady pick up the phone when Stephen Ross calls him and says, "You got one more year in you."
Well, it's
you
not
don't
working out so
you
well.
Don't say that to Brett. You don't want to say that to Brett.
He's a better football player than he is broadcaster. At this
Look,
point.
I'm a Miami Dolphins fan. You think I want Tom Brady in a uniform? Yes. The answer is yes, I do. He's got 6 Super Bowl rings. But I just think the story would be fantastic. I mean, talk about changing the narrative on the season early. If you can get Tom Brady out there at 58 years old or whatever age he is right now, you know, his face is only 3 years old, which he's probably in his physical prime. But Brady and Ryan Tannehill are the two that I think of. There was reports that Cam Newton was in camp yesterday. Blast the most elite tweet yesterday and said, no, he can't join the team. We already have too many as it is between the players that are already here, which I thought was fantastic. They did sign Snoop Huntley, who former Pro Bowl quarterback, Snoop Huntley. Which it would be interesting. And that's probably what it's going to be. If he's out longer, then maybe they'll look at a veteran or try to make a trade. But if he's out longer, the season's lost, and you're probably playing for next year anyway. So if they use Snoop, it's probably going to be, I'm guessing, in some sort of RPO package where he can come in and give different dynamic.
No, that's what I don't see.
But
no, Lofa, no, that's starting to scare me. We hate playing backup quarterbacks, especially ones that can run. No, that scares me. See, because I got Skyler's stats right here. Okay.
Oh, yeah. He's prepared to be amazed, ladies and gentlemen.
7 games played in 2022 with the Dolphins. That's Skyler Thompson. And then 1 game played in 2024. I guess that's this when he came in here.
Right.
1 touchdown, 3 interceptions, career. He's thrown for 614 yards. I mean, you know, not too much experience there. Let's
go.
Let's
go.
Well, in Skyler's defense, I actually have a pretty good Skyler Thompson draft story as well. But Skyler came in after Tua had a concussion against the Green Bay Packers in 2022 and finished off the season. He was actually our starting quarterback against Buffalo in the wild card round. And actually, the Miami Dolphins had the lead mainly because of their defense going into the fourth quarter of that game. So, yes, he doesn't have a lot of experience, but the experience he does have is fairly tangible. I mean, big moments. He didn't lose us that game. We were just beat by the Buffalo Bills yet again. I mean, they were a better team that year and clearly this year. So, no, I don't think Skyler Thompson is going to, pull off the impossible and take us to the Super Bowl. Something else is going to happen if the Miami Dolphins are going to have a shot at that this year. But he does have regular season and playoff starting experience, and that's got to count for something. I don't know what, but something.
That you guys should have won that game. You didn't keep running Myles Gaskin and the other UW Husky. Who's the other guy?
We had Miles, and then we had, oh my gosh, he's still like on our practice squad. The guy must have pictures of Tom Garfinkel and Mike McDaniel.
Sullivan Ahmed.
Sullivan Ahmed. Suvan Ahmed. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, they were averaging like 5 or 6 a clip, and then you just try to air it out. And so that's what I'm curious is with Skyler coming in, what do they do, right? And because you got HN back there, Mostert, Wilson coming back. Like,
what do they do? What do I do? A-Chain's my fantasy running back, and he's
Oh,
going against
God.
the Seahawks here. What
You
do I
start
do,
him.
and what do
No.
they do with A-Chain, and how's he looking?
You start him. First of all, I'm looking at the camera feed here. I'm way too close to the camera. My head is twice the size of Lofa Tatupu's, and I am not the same size as this man. So I probably need to back up a little bit, but that's just a personal problem if you're watching the feed right now. The one thing that the Miami Dolphins can do, and maybe escape Seattle, and that's what it would be, escape Seattle with a victory. It's going to have to be a low-scoring game, is run the damn ball. I mean, Davern Chand, if he's your fantasy football, he's got, 7 targets in both games in terms of pass catching out of the backfield. Yep. He's actually running quite well in between the tackles. He's been the most consistent offensive player this season, regardless of wide receiver or any other position group there. You start Davern Chand because he is the guy. Frank Smith, our offensive coordinator, came out today and said, this guy gets every piece of the playbook. Even the pages that is just Trent Dilfer, those pages aren't for him. But, I think his playbook is probably like LaDainian Tomlinson, like just be this guy. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He runs fast. He can break tackles. He'll make you look stupid if you try to just square up and hit him in the open field. So you start him. That's the guy they're going to have to lean on, especially with the way this too high safety look is going. And I mean, that's just shutting down this traditional Miami Dolphins offense. Mel Kiper came out today and was like, get off my lawn and get rid of 2 high safeties. Davern Chand's going to have to be, the straw that stirs the drink for the Miami Dolphins. Eventually, Seattle's going to have to come down and account for him. And then hopefully at that point, you take your shot with Jalen.
Well, we gave up some rushing yards, though, last week, Lofa. I mean, as a fantasy owner, I'm excited, but as a Seahawk fan, I'm nervous.
He's got speed. I don't know if you can catch him if he breaks in the open field. Like Ramondre broke into the open field and so did Antonio Gibson on us, and we were able to walk them down, thank God. But I don't know about with HN. It's going to be tested. I'll tell you that much. Our rush defense this week.
What scares you about the Seahawks offense?
Well, look, I mean, there's a guy named DK Metcalf that Geno Smith. Listen. With all due respect to Geno Smith. I'm about to disrespect the man. Whenever anyone says all due respect, you disrespect him.
Here, we're finally going to hear why he's underrated from somebody. What's up?
I'll tell you, the man can take a punch. I know that. But I'm going to say that it's a throwback to the Jets. Shout out to the Jets. Keep being the Jets, New York. All right. I'm going to say that I'm going to be I'm a positive guy. I'm an optimist, as you guys have seen here in the last 15 minutes that we've spent together.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll was robbed of Coach of the Year 2 years ago because he made the playoffs with Geno Smith as the starting quarterback, and they should rename the award the Pete Carroll Coach of the Year Award for that alone. Sorry, guys. Geno Smith does not scare me. Having said that, he's probably going to come out and run for 75 yards and a tug and throw for 250 and DK Metcalf.
Why doesn't he scare you? All he does is win games. He comes from behind. I think he leads the league over the course of the last few years and in game-winning drives and all that. He's got ice water in his veins. He hasn't written back yet. I mean, he hasn't won the big one, right? Like there hasn't been that sort of signature game or playoff moment or things like that. But when it comes to putting up numbers and balling out, he has been so far, and he has been this year so far.
Yeah, look, he's no Skylar Thompson, but he somehow done. And I can respect that. I can absolutely respect the fact that Geno Smith is terrorizing the NFC West. Like I said, I live in the Niner country, and I love when he comes out and frustrates the heck out of Fred Warner and everybody else. I just don't get it. I don't understand how he wins games. You ever have somebody in your life where you're like, they do 4 things wrong, but somehow they live in a bigger house than you and they have more money in your bank account than you. And you're just like, I don't get You're doing something illegal, and I don't know what it is. Geno Smith is doing something illegal, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he's murdering defenses.
All right, I'm going to put an end to this disrespect and just school you on what's happened the last several years. You say that Pete Carroll should be Coach of the Year. I thought he did a phenomenal job as coach that year. I would even go so far as to say that Geno Smith saved his job.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Geno had. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's even had a 1,000-yard rusher yet. Maybe Ken Walker did that year, but we've never had a healthy O-line. And so we've been really one-dimensional, only using pass. And when they know we're going to throw the ball, they can leave 7 in the box and defend the run. So I think the last 2 years, and then we haven't had a high-ranking defense like we did when Russ was here. Russ had the number 1 defense his first 4 years. It's pretty easy to win games when you have Marshawn Lynch on one side and then the number 1 defense, Legion of Boom, on the other side. So there's my rebuttal. I'm just telling you, trying to just
love it,
educate everybody.
Keep poking the bear, everybody. I love it. Do it all season long. Do it all the way through the playoffs. Keep going.
Lofa, you see the size of my head. I know what I'm talking about.
I know. I think you're thinking a lot now. I think I got those wheels turning, and you're like, wait,
in the comments. We got to get the comments going off. Why is Geno so disrespected? Why is he underrated? And how do you guys feel about him out there? Start loading the comments down there.
I don't hate the guy. I wish he was still on the Jets.
Injury reports. My goodness, the Seahawks injury report reads like my kid's Amazon wish list, Lofa. It's so long. It's ridiculous. You got Kenneth Walker with the oblique, Laken Tomlinson, the guard, which it's NIR rest. What is that? I don't know what that is. It's listed on there.
Like veteran rest?
Veteran rest, maybe. Okay, so did not practice. Brady Russell, our guy, Russell Mania, shows up on there with a shoulder, did not practice. Jerome Baker, outside linebacker, hamstring. Chenna on there still. Knee. Boye Mafe, knee. Kayvon Wallace, friend of the show, with a shoulder. Leonard Williams with a knee. DK with a hand. Those are all did not practices. And then limited in practice. We're still going, guys. Pharaoh Brown, Noah Fant, George Fant, the Fant brothers, both limited in practice. Tyler Lockett, Derek Hall, Spoon, Chenault, and Dodson and Reed. Chenault, Dodson, and Reed are FP. So is that full participant?
Full practice.
Full practice.
So they got upgraded, But Spoon and Hall and Lockett, Fant, all those guys are limited in practice. And then on the Dolphins side, I mean, you guys are relatively healthy coming into this one.
That's because everyone's on IR, so you can't really list them.
They're not on the list.
I got to say, like this is one of those things where this is like the first time I've been covering the Miami Dolphins in terms of podcasts and as a broadcaster for about 8 years. This is, I think, the first time that I've ever seen the injury report flip to where the other team has more people listed than the Miami Dolphins. I had to like rub my eyes like a cartoon character and go, is that correct?
Right.
You guys, I don't know what happened the first couple of weeks, but I'm imagining most of those, at least the limited practices and the veteran rest, they're going to play. I mean, Tyler Lockett's going to play. Jerome Baker's going to play. Jerome Baker is going to bring his mom to the game and he's going to ball out. It's a Jerome Baker revenge game. That's what's going to happen. I just figured it out right now. We're going to have the lead. And Skylar Thompson's going to get sacked, fumble. Jerome Baker's going to pick it up, and Jerome Baker, the touchdown maker, is going to reemerge. Damn it. I just realized what's going to happen.
Oh, I love that. I got Dotson with a pick. Lofa's got Love with a pick. This sounds like a good game to me.
I don't like your guys' attitude right now.
That's a good point, though. So, we essentially swapped middle linebackers, right? Yeah. And what did you see because I love Jerome Baker's game, and I couldn't believe that they moved on from him. So what did you, think of that move?
It's one of those mutual parting of the ways. I think he needed a change of pace. I mean, the guy, depending on who the defensive coordinator was really, really good for us. Or if it was a bad fit, then he was kind of exposed a little bit. But the guy's got so much speed. He can cover tight ends. He can cover running backs coming out of the backfield. He's a really, just in my opinion, a very good all around player. I don't know that he excels at anything. He's never going to be like he's the best at blitz coverage or any of that. It's just. The guy's really, really good. He's going to have a long career, and nobody in Miami hates him. He's not one of those guys who are like, good riddance, get out of here. He's kind of like, hey, we root for him, except for this week. But no, he's a good guy. Famously, one of those games he was mic'd up and he'd made a play and he was looking for his mom in the stands. That's why I brought that up. The whole thing was like, where's my mom? Where's my mom at? And I was like, I don't even know. She missed all the plays that he made in that game. She wasn't in the stands. But no, we love Jerome Baker. It was sad to see him go. We had to make some decisions. Christian Wilkins was another one, just a monster for the defensive line.
Man.
He ends up going to the Raiders. We just couldn't afford him with everyone else that we paid, including Tua, Tyreek, Jalen, and the coach and everyone else. Yeah. So it was just a numbers crunching thing. But yeah, no, Jerome Baker's solid.
How's the pass rush though? How are they going to get after?
They looked really good in preseason and in training camp, but they were going against our O-line, so maybe that's not the right litmus test to go up against. They didn't do well against Buffalo. What I will say is I think if you look at individual performances, Chop Robinson, first-round draft pick for the Miami Dolphins, no sacks yet. So if you look at his stat line, you go, this guy's not doing much. But he was putting Deion Dawkins on roller skates and pushing him back. It was just they couldn't get to Josh Allen, and he was able to throw the ball or make a play. Jalen Phillips looks good. Calais Campbell's done really well up front. Zach Sealer, number 92. We call him Random White, like Reggie White, but Random White 92. He's been a good player for us for a really long time. So the defensive front is actually pretty good. It's kind of behind. I mean, our secondary hasn't been great so far. We brought Jordan Poyer in to kind of be that other safety, and I'm convinced he's just a spy for the Buffalo Bills at this point. No, like they're playing chess. We're playing checkers. They're like, yeah, why don't you go get money from them, and then have to let Jerome Baker go, and then you just let everyone catch everything. How about that? And he's like, that's a good plan. I like it. But no, so the defensive line is pretty good. Jordan Poyer is going to hit me in the face next time I see him.
Pretty sure,
but it depends on the level of competition. They did really, really well against Jacksonville. But they didn't do as well against Buffalo. So depending on how you guys are performing right now, it might be a problem for Seattle. But, I would say middle of the road, maybe upper part of middle of the road, if that makes any sense. Number 12 in the league, if I had to rank them.
We got to get to our score prediction. It's brought to you by our friends at Simply Seattle, Seattle's best apparel company. This is a Simply Seattle item. Check it out. Not just team stuff. They got Pacific Northwest gear, sweet Seattle hoodie. Lofa, of course, rocking the Sonics gear. They're the world's largest Sonics retailer. Go to simplyseattle.com. Let them know that we sent you. I think we're working on a promo code or something, so we'll get that out there. But
they
also,
got to be selling more Sonics gear than Clippers gear, right? Like the Clippers are an actual team, but there's got to be more Sonics gear out there than the Clippers, right?
Absolutely,
more Sonics gear in Seattle than ever before, right now,
across the country.
And across the country.
You guys want to hear
every game that I tune into?
You want to hear a good Gary Payton story?
Hell yeah.
Okay. So I know we got to get to the predictions, and I appreciate all the time. And I know I'm bullying the mic here, and my head is just taking over the whole screen. I apologize. I gotta get on a diet. But I was doing comedy in Northern California. Gary Payton's from Oakland, California. And I was talking trash about the 49ers, like I always do. And I get off stage, and this dude in the middle row slaps me on my thigh and says, "Good shit, boy." Sorry for the language. And I go, "Thanks, guy who looks like Gary Payton." And then I realized it was Gary Payton. So after the show, he comes up to me. He's a big 49ers fan. Sorry, Seattle. And he says, "I didn't appreciate those Niner jokes." Well, I'm a Lakers fan. And I said, "Well, Gary Payton, I didn't appreciate you teaming up with Karl Malone, Shaquille O'Neal, and Coby Bryant and somehow losing to the Pistons. What are you talking about?" And he goes, "Well, I guess we're even." I'm like, "No, we're not even. You know how much money I lost? Chauncey Billups? Really? Chauncey Billups ate your lunch and we're even? We're not even." So,
Chauncey Billups is a beast.
Yeah, shout out to Chauncey Billups and Tayshaun Prince and the rest of the B squad who took the championship that year. So I was open. It was all weekend. I was opening for Bruce. Shout out to Bruce, great comedian. So the next night, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to talk Niners because you never know who's in the stand or who's in the crowd. And Marshawn Lynch comes to a lot of these shows. I'm going to talk about the Raiders. So I had this whole bit about the Raiders, about how Sebastian Janikowski once threw a drink at me, but I put my hands up like this and it went, 40 yards to the right, missed me, missed the stage, missed everyone completely. So I'm just trashing the Raiders, just absolutely trashing them. And I get off the stage and the entire staff of Tommy T's Comedy Club is laughing. And I go, "What?" And they go, "You got to go upstairs." So I go upstairs and it's Michael Crabtree. And I called him out on stage, didn't know he was there.
Shit.
It was Derek Carr. It was basically the entire Oakland Raiders at that point, right? So for the most part, athletes and Lofa, hopefully I feel like you are. If you're trashing them and then you talk to them afterwards, they get it. They're at a comedy show. It's kind of what it is. People understand. I go to shake everyone's hand. I've known Derek Carr for a while, so he sees me. He's like, "Good to see you." I shake everyone's hand except for Michael Crabtree. And he takes a napkin and he threw it at me and I caught it and I go, "That's called a reception." And then he walked off and left the comedy club before Bruce ever hit the stage.
That is ice cold. Talking trash to the glove, though. That's a legendary
He's
story.
a good dude. I actually just saw him the other day. He came to another one of my shows. Great guy.
Simply Seattle also furnishes our contest here, which is the score prediction challenge. We will give you our predictions. You guys find the post on Instagram. Leave your predictions under there in the comments. Usually no one nails it. However, Lofa, the fans and the listeners are 2-0. They've nailed it. Somebody's gotten it both weeks. So here's your third chance at it, everybody. Sam, what's the score going to be at the end of the game?
Well, let's see. I'm up in the Pacific Northwest right now. I'm visiting with you guys and knowing your audience. I don't know that Skylar Thompson's going to shock the world. I think that the scores are going to be less than what people want. I mean, nobody roots for a boring game. Everyone bets the over. No one wants the under. I think you take the under in this one, guys. I think this is probably going to be something like on the high end, 24 for Seattle, 13 for the Miami Dolphins. This is not going to be a high scoring affair. It's probably going to have some sort of defensive turnover that leads to points, if not a pick six or a fumble recovery for a touchdown or something like that. But yeah, I think the Seahawks are going to take it.
Well, as long as that's 2 touchdowns for A-Chain with a missed extra point, I'll take it.
He might be the one having to kick the extra points at this point. I mean, we don't even know. He might be the only guy. Might be the only one showing up.
Oh, man. All right. I think the 12s give Skylar hell, and that's a tough crowd to play in front of. And so I think, some miscommunication errors over there. I'm going to go 34.
Ooh,
I think Geno and the boys are going to take the next step and just now we're going to get the touchdowns with all those 330 plus yards, right? And less drops this time. All right.
Okay.
So
yeah.
34 Hawks, and I'll give them 20. I know Tyreek's going to find the end zone somehow, and A-Chain probably too. So yeah.
Well, hopefully A-Chain throws it to him, and I could get points for that too.
I'd love that.
Points.
I always go with a wacky score because it's don't take my word for it. I'm a chucklehead with a microphone. But anyway, I got the Seahawks just like Lofa actually, 31 though. Just so slightly lower, but still high scoring. You said 34. I go 31. And then Miami will get 12.
12? Did we get 6 safeties at least? Like, is that the defense coming?
I was thinking that too. 6 safeties.
Check out that math, by the way.
Hey, we gave up 2 the first. That was great math. We gave up 2 the first game. 2 safeties.
I would rather you do 10 than 12. 12 is disrespectful for some reason. Why is that? I don't know why I'm upset by that.
Sam, you're the absolute man. Thanks for being here. Sam's a comedian and a host of the Perfectville podcast, co-hosted with Greg Camarillo, former Dolphin. Before you get out here, I know we've gone overtime.
Shout out to Chris Cullen. Chris Cullen as well as our other co-host.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to listen to this, and he's a former collegiate football player, and he was a middle linebacker, and he will smash my face if we don't talk about Chris Cullen. By the way, Chris Cullen, Zach Cullen, his son, Zachary Thomas Cullen, named after the great 54, is a junior in high school and is getting recruited like heavy on the East Coast. So look out for that name in a couple of years. Zachary Thomas Cullen, running back.
I'll do what any good host does and blame my producer. What's your Dan Marino story?
Sorry, Katie. All right. So a couple of years ago, I was in Las Vegas doing comedy, and wouldn't you know it, they actually there's alcohol and stuff in Las Vegas. So I ended up at the Hooters Hotel for the food, of course. And inside the Hooters Hotel is a restaurant. It's not even there anymore, but the restaurant was owned by Dan Marino. And I'm with a couple of buddies, and we've been drinking, and we realized that the food is garbage. It's just bad. It's like Dan Marino circa 1999 in the playoffs. It's not good. So we leave there. And we get into the elevator, and we're just talking smack about our hero. We're all Dolphins fans, and we're talking about how the food is bad, and I can't believe Dan Marino would lend his name to this. I'm never watching Ace Ventura again, all this stuff. And we look over, and when you know it, Dan Marino's in the elevator with us, and we're like, oh, and he's like, late night boys? We're like, no, we're just, your food is lousy though, man. You got to do something about this. And then he just hit the button, and I think we were in between floors. He could not get out. It was the first time I've ever seen him actually be mobile and escape a pocket. He just opened the elevator doors and left at floor 2.5. He's like, I'm not going to be in here.
Pried it open and crawled out of there.
Get out. I'm out of here.
Every single time you talk shit, the person is standing right there.
Oh man,
I have bad vision. I've got astigmatism. I'm not even wearing my glasses.
Dude, thanks so much for your time. Thanks for being here. We'll check you out on the Perfectville podcast. Thanks, man.
All day. Thank you guys very much.
We're gonna take a break. We'll be back with our guest Coby Bryant right after this. Lofa drafted in the 4th round, 2022, the 109th pick overall. It's Coby Bryant. He's putting the headphones on. Coby, what's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good. Lofa, we asked Lavishka the origins of his name. Should we ask Coby as well? Coby, are you named after anyone?
Yeah, I'm definitely named after Coby Bryant.
All right, we need the backstory, my man. How we know who Coby is, but how did it?
Well, honestly, I'm still trying to figure it out myself. My older brother, who's 7 years older than me, he claims up and down that he was, the originator of my name, coming up with my name, and he was only 7 years old at the time, so I don't know how he would do that. But my dad was a big fan of Coby, and also my mom. So my dad, I think it's kind of my dad who came up with it, honestly.
Well, you spell it with the C instead of the
Yeah.
K, so you are differentiated in that way. But do you bring any of the Mamba mentality to your game, and how so? And do you watch Coby and study him?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been like that since I started playing sports. Whatever it was. I try to carry that mentality. I even have like a poster, in my locker at my crib. Just to emulate that mama mentality. So
Man, right on. I like talking football, and I like watching you play football.
Yeah, appreciate that.
The position switch. I want to
Mhm.
ask how did that come about? Because I mean, you're a phenomenal corner.
Yeah.
I always told you, even when I was over there, I was like, dude, you'd be a hell of a safety.
Yeah, for sure,
But
for sure.
a lot of guys don't like switching, so I just want
Yeah.
to know how that came about and how you're fitting, finding a groove over there.
Yeah. Well, honestly, it started last year. Coming into training camp, I was kind of a little late on it. They told me about it. And I just kind of, was getting a feel for it. At first, I didn't, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really want to do it, but whatever to help the team. And I didn't know the reason behind it. And then once the coaches explained the reason behind why they see me back there, the longevity, the athleticism that I bring, and just that I can do it. And now I love safety. It's just more opportunity to be around the ball. You have to be in this defense, more vocal, more of a leader as well too. So I love the transition, and like I said, whatever helps the team.
Yeah, brother. It was always the instincts that stood out for
Yeah.
me with you, the
Yeah.
awareness. And so I told you, I was like, dude, I know you stay a corner as
Yeah.
long as you can, because
Yeah.
that's kind of like how it goes. But
Yeah.
dude, I think you're gonna really like how
Yeah.
it ends up shaking out.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate that.
Seahawks 2-0. You guys are riding high. What's the vibe in the building? What's the mood of the team?
Yeah, obviously, everybody's up. Starting off 2-0 doesn't get any better than that. But, there's always room for improvement. We just can't, stay stuck on those 2 wins. We got room to grow, each week, each day, and, continuously getting better and, try to go out there on Sunday and get the job done.
You're a vet now, man. What's this rookie class like?
Oh, they're kind of cool, man. I like them a lot, man. They're respectful. They listen. And I tell them all the time, whenever they need somebody they can, count on, I'm there for them. So I like them a lot.
Coby, I got a question. So the first week, I don't know if you can face more adversity than we did, right?
Yeah.
The safeties and how we start on offense. We picked it up there, but the defense, they just kept responding. And then we go on the road. And then now, you go to overtime, you go full length plus a frame, right?
Right.
Who stood up, if anyone did, said anything, or really, if not, what has Mike McDonald kind of said in these moments?
Yeah. It's pretty much a player-led thing. Obviously the coaches, say everything that they need to say, but we're pretty much all on the same page. Like I said, just that attitude and mentality that we have in the locker room, it carries over into the field. Shows that we're willing to fight until the clock says 0, and just not giving up, man. Just being competitive. That's the biggest thing. And just making people earn what they get out there, and vice versa, and us just having that mentality that nothing's given. You're gonna have to take it. So
What's it like going against this offense in
yeah,
practice every day?
it's fun, man. Obviously they have tons of weapons, and just what Coach Grubb brings to the offense as well. The tempo. We're going against it every day in practice, so we're kind of we get tired a little bit, but it's a true test to us, and how we want to be out there on Sunday.
Of your game, what is your favorite thing to do on the field? And because I mean, you come up and hit, interceptions are always fun. What's your favorite thing to do?
I would definitely say, get the ball. I feel like that's what I do best. The reason why I did win, the Jim Thorpe coming out of college, that's just something I've always been good at, just doing that. And then, my dad always been, tough on me coming up is to be physical as well, too. So I love to hit, too, man. A lot of corners transitioning to safety don't have that trait. And, that's something that I have. So I enjoy doing that as well, too. Just playing football, honestly.
What was your welcome to the NFL moment?
Oh, definitely week 1, my rookie year. My second play of the game, Jerry Jeudy catches like a 50-yard touchdown pass on me. And, just like all the older guys came up to me, all the guys I can lean on just came up to me and just said, it's a long season. you got to forget about that. Just keep learning, keep growing. And, I feel like each week I continuously grow, and here I am. I'm still here. So.
Now you said right there, you said exactly what I want to hear. What did you learn from that? And then that exact, because I know you remember the play. I know you remember being in that moment.
Absolutely.
What did he do well that you learned from right there?
He definitely, he showed that he was coming inside, and I just overplayed it, and then just not speed turning out of it. I like flipped my hips a whole 180 that I didn't need to do, just wasted movement, and just rookie being a rookie, honestly. And I just came back, like I said, those next week for the rest of the season, just preparing myself and just play the game that I know how to play. So,
Coby, you've been in Seattle a few years now. What's your favorite part about the city itself?
I would say just like the fans, honestly. The fans are super loyal. They show tons of love on game day. They're extremely loud at Lumen. That's always fun. Especially not for the opposing team. Just like I said, the fans, man, they're great. Not a lot of fans are like that, and I'm very appreciative.
Man, it's so loud in that stadium, not just from the 12s, but just the overall experience. You got DJ Super Sam spinning stuff. They're doing games during breaks and things like that. I've always wondered as I'm standing there, how are you able to focus? How are you able to pay attention? Because, man, I'm there to watch the game, and it's hard for me to even focus on the game in front of me.
Right. Honestly, man, just all throughout the week, they play like the loud music, the loud noise, and during practice. But, we enjoy that especially us defensive guys, for the offense, for the false starts or whatever the case may be. We truly enjoy that, man. And just like I said, not everybody has that. And just to know that they're cheering for us, no matter what, is truly, truly special.
We had Kayvon Wallace on a few weeks ago. We had Lavishka last week. We asked them both about this. We got to ask you, game day fit. What's the drip like? Where are you getting supplied at, and what can we expect this weekend?
For me personally, I'm always, gonna be fresh. That's just who I am. I get that from my parents. I shop at all kinds of places. I can't really, tell everybody. I try to. I'm gatekeeping a little bit, but I definitely, try to, be presentable, on and off the field as well too. So
right on.
So. We talked to. I'm hearing designer stuff right there.
It's been a fashion show out there. It's been impressive.
Is there a little competition in the locker room?
Yeah,
not really, but for me, I just just do my own thing, and a lot of guys do their own thing as well too. We got some guys who know how to dress as well too. So,
Speaking of doing your own thing off the field. Like hobbies, interests, what kind of things are you into? Laviska's very into fashion, and he has a dog, Kayvon, similar. So what kind of things do you like to do?
Besides fashion, I'm definitely like learning golf. My older brother plays a ton of golf. He gets on me to this day. I still need to learn. I always trash talk him that he's not that good, but he is, honestly. And I'm still learning. It's super competitive, but for me, if I don't have a good game, I'm frustrated. I'm angry, and it's understandable. I don't get enough practice, so I'm still learning with that.
Now, Lofa, I got my list of questions over here, so we can really get to know these guys.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to curate as the season goes on. So, Coby, we got like 2 minutes left on the clock here.
Yeah.
I got 12 questions. We'll try to go rapid fire, but nothing with me is rapid fire. Here we go. Question number 1. Do you collect anything?
No.
Question number 2. Do you put ketchup on a hot dog?
Mustard.
So no, that's 2 no's.
No,
Question number 3. Do aliens exist? How much time I got?
No.
Question number 4. Pearl Jam or Nirvana?
Repeat that.
Pearl Jam or Nirvana?
He might be too young for this one.
Yeah, yeah.
The no's have it. Number 5. Can you count to 10 in a random order?
Yes. Don't tell me to do it, but yeah.
I like that answer.
Number 6. What is your guilty pleasure snack?
15 seconds.
What do you pig out on?
Hot Cheetos.
Yes.
Next question.
How many tattoos? I know I'm trying.
Just one.
Okay. Pancakes, waffles, or French toast?
Definitely pancakes.
What's the last regular job you had?
None.
Oh.
Wow.
You already
First
talked about
job,
NFL.
NFL.
The last question, even though we're out of time, is what is your favorite fruit?
I would say Pineapple?
There you go, guys.
Yeah.
Start filling in your bingo cards there, getting to know Coby Bryant. Coby, you're the man, dude. Have fun this weekend. Ball out. Much luck to you and the team. We'll be watching.
Go get him, brother.
I
And you saying, yes, I can count in a random order, but I'm not going to. That was brilliant.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys, man. Yes, sir.
All right, let's take a look around the league and talk about some hot topics. Lofa. Lofa.
Gosh.
Dude, Pete Carroll, he still says he can coach. He's saying it again. Or is he? Did he really say anything?
Maybe.
He was on KJR. They asked him. He said he's young enough. He could do it if he wants to do it, but nobody's asking him to do it. But if someone asks him to do it, then he might want to do it. But if he's not asked right now, then he doesn't want to do it. But if just in case someone wants him to do it, then he could do it. I mean, hey, I'm just hitting here. If you guys want me to do it, I can totally do it. But like, maybe
unless you really want me to, you tell me.
You know Pete really well. You played for him in college. You played for him in the pros. The way he talks has me just laughing and feeling nostalgic. But what's up? Like, is he going to coach? Is he not going to coach? Does he want to? Does he not want to?
He absolutely wants to. Like, I don't even need to see the interview or hear the voice. He's the ultimate competitor. And so, yeah, even just bringing it up, it was just to let them know, hey, if you want me to.
I think I nailed the voice, though. I think that was a perfect.
It was good. It was good. I bet you it was spot on. We could probably do a side by side, and you wouldn't know who's who.
He says both things at the same time all the time,
and he means both.
What's that like as a player? Is that? I mean, that's not the way he delivers the message?
No. He is very concise on the plan of attack and compete and everything. It's very clear, cut and dry. So, but it is funny to hear him go back and forth because I really feel like it's the voice in his head. Like, okay, I don't put it out there, but maybe just like leak a little bit that I can do it. I know I can do it.
He's got the edge, dude.
He's fighting the competitive edge in his brain. That's really what we're witnessing. And yeah, absolutely. He said he's in the best shape of his life. He is. He looks great. And I know he can get back out there and watch. There's going to be 4 or 5, firings like there are every year.
Yeah.
I guarantee you his name gets thrown in the ring.
What was he like? What was the difference of playing for him in college versus the pros?
More energy. The guy, like I said, he's the Benjamin Button of coaching. He just kept getting younger. Like he's going to be a baby any day soon. He's going to be a little guy.
Cool. Earl Thomas and Marshawn Lynch, both eligible for the Hall of Fame this year. How fast do you want them put in there?
I would love to see. I think both their careers, they're worthy of first ballot. You look at all the accolades that Earl had ever since stepping foot in the league. He should have went to the Pro Bowl his rookie year. We just were not a good team. And so you kind of all get punished for that, even though losing record, go to the playoffs, whatever. He had like 5 or 6 interceptions and then just kept building his resume after that. But we'll see how it goes. And then like my fear is just like the media, how they play a role into this, that they would keep them out for whatever reason. Just, Marshawn not talking to the media back in the day. Right.
Yeah. I feel like that's been forgiven at this point though, right? With everything Marshawn's done after his playing career and all the funny videos. And I think everybody loves Marshawn, right?
I believe everybody loves Marshawn, but not the people that were trying to get, do their job and, get answers out of him, at the time. And just, if you want any proof of it, look at Terrell Owens. You tell me he didn't deserve first ballot? Like the guy, he's in the top 3 of every major statistical record, and they made him, I was kind of hoping that T.O. would go to Canton and just rip everybody that kept him out, rather than hold his own kind of celebration at his. It was cool though that he held his own celebration at his college.
Yeah. But Marshawn though, it's kind of, it's funny because even the I'm just here so I don't get fined and all that, like he is giving them a story.
Well,
almost in some way. I mean, looking back on it now,
maybe he took a page out of Pete's playbook there. I mean, I could, but I won't, but I might if you want me to.
Yeah.
No, but I was hoping Marshawn, you remember, I was hoping when he did that, I was hoping he just played the instrumental version of I don't fuck with you. I thought that would have been perfect.
Well, look, I mean, if he sits there and just gives a well thought out answer, blah 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 blah, and he's just very even keeled and nice, what kind of story is there to write from that? Of him just saying we're going to give 110% out there and take it one play at a time and blah blah blah. When he sits there and says the things that he said and made that this, and then that became the thing. So like, I bet they got more clicks than ever before, sort of because of the answer and because of the controversy swirling around it, rather than him just giving his breakdown of going against that defense.
Oh, it definitely went viral.
Yeah.
And Marshawn's one of the best marketing minds there ever will be, right? And just he's authentically himself, and I think that's what everybody loves. That's what's refreshing. Is like he's not sitting in the box that they put us in terms of being a player and just saying the right things and everything.
You just never know what he's going to do next,
right? It's that Howard Stern effect
where he's going to pop up. Yeah, he's awesome. Hey, speaking of ex-Seahawks, though, Richard Sherman on his podcast, it's a story about Richard Sherman's podcast, sort of. I don't know if you saw this, but CJ Stroud was mic'd up for the game between the Texans and the Bears, and they caught him on the microphone talking to Jalen Johnson of the Bears and saying, "Hey, I caught you on Richard Sherman's podcast. I heard your game plan basically for how to go against me. It's not going to work today," and was sort of just badgering him about hearing him on there. And my question is, like, first of all, that's just grade A amazing scouting, like next level scouting. He's listening to his opponent's appearance on a podcast. I mean, you want to give him some props for that? He's going beyond just watching film.
Yeah, right. And this is where I guess the podcast world is paying dividends as a student of the game. So
yeah,
that is good for him. Did it work?
They won. I've asked you before, do players watch this stuff? Do players listen to this stuff? Maybe modern players are staying more aware because of different technology, podcasts just being so ubiquitous, whatever. But I found it interesting, and good for Richard. He's got a listener in CJ Stroud.
And then he's got more than one, but yeah. But it is new day and age, right? Like I didn't listen to the media outlets or anything when, preparing for an opponent. I just watch film upon film upon film. But social media has changed that, right?
Yeah. Sticking with CJ Stroud, was he big broing? I got to get your opinion on this. Was he big broing Caleb Williams after the game? That's the phraseology that is being used with this. That's not me, by the way. But I kind of like it. So did you see this?
I did not.
Okay. Well, Caleb, after the game, he's kind of upset. They lost and whatever. And I don't think he played the way he wants to be playing through 2 weeks. And so CJ kind of just said to him, "Hey man, like, don't take those hits and stay in there." And Caleb kind of, I don't know if he brushed him off, but wasn't really paying attention. CJ then kind of doubled back, grabbed him in tighter, said like, "No, I mean it, fix those mistakes and you're going to be awesome." But he said, "Fix those mistakes." He was really giving him advice. What is big broing anyone's anyway? I mean, what do you make of this whole thing? Is it okay for a second-year guy to pull in a rookie and give him some advice like that after a game?
I mean, he was the rookie of the year, wasn't he? If I'm not mistaken. Hell yeah. You take every ounce of, constructive criticism is how I'll use it. But I don't know. I didn't see like hey, wait, like get back in here. Like,
yeah, like the way it was gone about.
Hold up, kid. I'm trying to give you knowledge.
Have you ever been big broed? Have you ever felt big broed?
No. But I mean, anything, like if I ever had a veteran, and a year older is still a veteran, I don't care how much you like it or don't, like, give me information on how to get better. I'm going to take the information. And so,
well, what's the best advice you ever got from a vet?
Man, there's a lot, but I think the coolest was like just going to the Pro Bowl. Like, it was rookie year, and I got to sit with Zach Thomas and Ray Lewis and just pick their brains about how they used to keep notebooks of offensive coordinators. And they used to tell me, wow, these coordinators jump to other teams, like either as a head coach or wherever they go, but they're bringing their system, right? They might tweak a couple things, but back then it was almost like identical to what they ran at their former. Mike Martz was the head coach at St. Louis, and then he went to Detroit. I literally just had to open up my rookie year notebook on the Rams, and I had all the plays for Detroit.
Wow.
So that was probably the coolest bit of information they gave me.
What advice do you give rookies?
Work your ass off. No, but anything that I learned, I always felt, a need to share, right? That's what a leader does. And so like they did for me, even though we were on different teams, I've always tried to do for the rookies.
Let's get some people to chime in the comments. Was CJ Big Bro and Caleb? Let us know your thoughts. Next hot topic here. I brought this up earlier in the show, but everyone's tripping over themselves over Derek Carr and Darnold, Sam Darnold. I don't know why I thought I got his first name wrong for some reason. I had to go check. Anyway, everyone's tripping over themselves for these guys. They're both 2-0. Which one's a better story, or which one do you think will have the better season when everything's said and done?
I think the better story is Darnold, not just because he's a Trojan, but former first, right? Bounces around, finally getting a chance again, and then goes and beats the team that he just left, right? A team that's ranked third in the power rankings according to some. But I'm not taking it personal though.
I don't know if I'm sold yet.
Right. But then Derek Carr, only heard great things about this guy and his character and as a leader. And so always saying the right things and doing the right things and, kind of having a resurgence, like that's pretty damn cool. And in the fashion they're doing it, they're going off a lot of points over there.
He was fined $14,000 for a crotch grab touchdown celebration.
It was the Michael Jackson little leg whip. Looks like he could use a little more flexibility. I'm not like a Dancing with the Stars judge, but we got to get a little more limber there.
Dude, $14,000 though for a dance move?
I got fined $20,000 for socks once. So $14,000 sounds pretty awesome.
Wow. $20,000. Jeez, man. Well, does that just come out of the check, or do you have to write a new check?
No, I think they payroll deduct. Thank God.
Oh, man, that'd be tough if you had to write it yourself.
I don't have to force my hand down to write it.
You write in the memo line, socks.
I write something else in that memo line.
Yeah, no kidding. Through 2 weeks, the dynamic kickoff has double the returns from a year ago. When will you be sold, or have you been sold yet on the dynamic kickoff? I'm going to keep hammering it.
Yeah, just so dynamic. Cool. Shout out to DJ Dallas, former Hawk, who took into the house.
That's true.
I will made history.
All the numbers, whatever you want to say about the dynamic kickoff, I will listen to you. It looks weird as hell. And I don't know if it's ever going to look normal to my eye when I see it happening. I'm here for player safety. I'm here for more returns. Of course, I'm here for more plays being made. But it just looks fucking weird.
Okay, so wait, you're saying plays are being made? Is that like what we started with?
Not yet, really. I'm just saying, if there are more at the end of the day or as we go through this thing, then I'm for that. But when you watch it, it just looks strange. I can't get used to it visually.
I think they're just that. Okay, I understand the guys being 5 yards apart. Move that shit back to the 50 though. Because right, the timing of it all is so.
They look like they're
crazy.
Paused on the TV. Like the ball's flying in the air and they're just standing there. It's just in every sport, while the ball is moving, usually people are moving.
Right.
So
makes sense.
Strange. Yeah. Bryce Young in Carolina, we touched on it in our live after the Patriots game, but he's been officially sort of replaced as the starter by Andy Dalton, the Red Rifle. Looking like groundskeeper Willie, sort of. That orange mane is bright orange. But anyway, he's coming in. Bryce is at least hitting the bench for now. I mean, what do you think about that whole thing, and what happens to Bryce from here?
I think it was, a tough situation for everybody. For Bryce, as being the first overall pick. Right. I think for the organization, how do you pass on the Heisman? There was no right answer, but I feel like a better answer was him not starting out the gate, or sitting a little longer last year, right?
Yeah.
Because I think Dalton started the first. At least we played Dalton, and Dalton gave us fucking hell, right? If it wasn't for the 12s getting all those delay of games because they're so loud, that would have been a different story. But I've just seen everybody say, oh, well, how do you pass up on Stroud for Bryce? Well, because Bryce has won everywhere he's went, high school, college, Heisman. So, damned if you do or damned if you don't. But I think he'll be all right.
Well, that's the thing that will worry me is his confidence after this. I mean, he's 2-16 in the league, but he has won everywhere else. That's got to do something to you.
Same with Trevor Lawrence, right? I mean,
true.
Like he hasn't had the best start to his NFL career. He just got paid though because he has won enough games or showed enough promise, and Bryce will be fine. And it's just.
But will he be fine in Carolina?
He'll get another chance in Carolina, and and we'll see how it goes. But like roster wise, I mean, he didn't get put in the situation that Stroud got put in. Right now, I'm still going to give Stroud all the praise, but they got like 6 number ones over there. They got a rushing game. They got a great defense. This isn't apples to apples, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I hear you. What about Miami though? Should they trade for him?
Miami?
Something fun like that. I'm talking headlines. I mean, not this week. Well, he wouldn't be able to play this week anyway to be ready, but you know what I mean. Not
with that attitude. But does he trade for? I don't know. Like I don't, because like what would the price be, right? That's what you have to get to if you're gonna start going down that road.
It's just,
you never know. Good point. Good point though, because McDaniel is like a QB whisperer, just like the coaches he learned from, McVay and Shanahan. So that could be like an option, and maybe the price is a little lower given that they're turning the reins over to Dalton.
Dude, I hope Tua comes back from this thing or does whatever he wants to do. And if that's in the NFL, I hope he has success. But if he has to be out long term or if something changes down there, this is just a really interesting storyline to watch. I think there's a whole list of people that they could bring in there. One of the guys they could bring in there is sitting there in Pittsburgh. With nothing.
Who's that? Who's that?
He's sitting there holding the clipboard with nothing to do. What do you think about that? What if Russ went to Miami?
Is he healthy? Because like that's what's kept him. That's what's kept him on the bench. Because I mean, they're 2-0, but I mean, it hasn't been like incredible play out of Justin Fields. It's been, good, smart football. But I mean, I'm sure they're still waiting to see more, from their passing game and everything. So you never know. And like, that's why, remember way back when Russ signed with Pittsburgh, I said I didn't love this move for Russ. Like I thought Atlanta, right? Anywhere else, $1 million for a Super Bowl winning quarterback because the other team's paying him 40 sounds like a pretty awesome deal.
Yeah.
And so we'll see what happens though.
It's weird that Russ is like one of the old quarterbacks in the league now, isn't it?
I mean, that's what happens when you play for 14 years. You get
old men, though. He's like Dennis Quaid in Any Given Sunday. Like the old guy.
Oh, yeah, he's not like that. Come on.
No, that's more Aaron Rodgers, probably. I guess.
Yeah, okay, that's probably a closer comparison.
All the old guys are just different now. It used to be Payton and Tom and Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers, whatever. They're all gone now. It's Russ and Aaron Rodgers. Who else? Stafford. Who else? Who are the other old guy quarterbacks?
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirko.
Right.
Flacco's still doing his thing somewhere.
Is he?
Didn't they bring him back?
I mean, he had a hell of a year last year. I don't know. Did they?
Who's your favorite old guy quarterback?
I mean, Jacoby Brissett's Geno is in there, right?
Yeah.
Brissett's like entering 9. Like that's crazy, to even think that. And then there's rumors that your boy Tom might be coming back.
Actually, at this point, maybe I've come around full circle, and it'd just be kind of fun.
Yeah,
maybe on the entertainment side of things for that. Yeah, Will Levis's phone got hacked. More hot topics. Will Levis's phone got hacked. He can't get into his social media. What's the longest you've gone without your social media?
Shit, maybe a couple weeks, a month. Most peaceful time ever.
Damn, that's pretty good. No one's gone that long ever. I've never gone that long.
I don't know. It didn't work, and I was just like, oh, whatever. And then
That sounds relaxing.
it was very right. And I was like, hey, what's going on? Like tech support, help me out. And then they were like, dude, you got to update your phone. I was like, oh, okay. So it's very, very, very embarrassing. Yeah, very embarrassing.
What's the longest you think you could go just without your whole phone? If I had like a lockbox.
Man, that sounds pretty awesome.
I know.
You could take it this weekend. And we'll
You
see
kind of
how
went
long.
the way that
We'll
go
test
on
it.
that question. Yeah. How long do you want it for? You can have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be crazy. There's a syndrome going around, Lofa. I don't know if you've heard of this, or I'm not sure what to classify it as, but it's known as Kelsey fatigue. It's throughout the league.
Is this real?
Yeah. Do you have any Kelsey fatigue? It's both of them. I think they're everywhere, man. Jason's all over every commercial and every talk show. Travis is obviously doing his thing in the league, but then on the podcast and with Taylor and all that. Do you have any Kelsey fatigue?
No, I'm a big fan. Especially Jason. We need more of Jason.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. You have Swift fatigue?
No.
Yeah.
Right. Good for her. Good for them. Wait, this is a real thing? It's.
Oh yeah, it's contagious.
Do you have it?
I don't know. Not really. As the season goes on, I'm sure I'll get sick of all those commercials, but right now it's fine. I'm managing my Kelsey fatigue, fine for now.
I could see an acting career for Trav when he's done. He's good in those commercials.
Yeah. Good looking dude, big dude. You go on like Reacher and like try to beat that guy up, maybe like an action guy, like a John Cena type guy.
I feel like he pulls off the lines really well. Now, see, this is where you can step in because you're a real actor and producer, Katie, and critique it.
No, he's pretty good. I mean, he's good on camera. He had his own dating show on the E! Network when he was trying to find a girlfriend back in the day. So he's comfortable on camera. Did you know that? It was called Catching Kelsey.
Yeah. I never saw the actual show, but I remember it. Yeah,
he's been in front of a camera for a while. So, no, he's good. Yeah, he's good. I don't know. I mean, Kelsey fatigue. It's a thing, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have anything else on my list. Do you have anything else, any big matchups you're looking at this weekend or football things you want to get back into before we wrap it up?
No. I had a couple shout outs, but I already forgot them, and I'm sorry. I'll have them for your next show. What, it was my guy. Was it Taylor? Tyler? Yeah, Taylor. He signed a golf ball. So this is a guy that saved the day. He brought a phone charger out to me when we were doing our show with what was it, 2 weeks ago, and when I was at the golf tournament, and then he also brought the charger out and then pack of golf balls because I ran out of golf balls because I had to use a rental set because Matt McCoy left my clubs in his car instead of bringing them with him.
One of the matchups I'm looking at, you got Houston, Minnesota. There's some 2-0 teams going at it, so that'll be a big one. Chargers versus Steelers, 2 more undefeated teams going head to head this weekend. Let's see, we got our game, of course.
Isn't Rams and Niners, right? Is that this week? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So one of those teams will take another loss. Rams could be 0-3 after this weekend.
Ooh.
Hard to come back from that.
That's tough, but if anybody could do it, it's McVay. Watch out for Whittington. I picked him up on the waiver wire. I feel like he could be the next. Well, him or Ladd McConkey were my next Puka Nacua of this year.
Those are all great names. Did you hear that? I had them all in my name draft this year.
Y'all named too.
Yeah, Ladd McConkey and Puka Nacua. That's a great name. All right, well then that's it for us, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We got the contest going for the seats this weekend. If you want to win the seats, go check us out on Instagram. It's at All Day Family. Family is spelled out. Just give it a follow and we'll pick a follower to give those tickets to. Also check out our sponsors: Simply Seattle, Epic Seats, Delta, and bet online. I don't think there's anything else. Hands in the middle. Let's break it down.
All right, boys. Am I breaking it down?
Yeah. Oh, captain, my captain.
Yeah. We squeaked one out, not going to lie, but it was a hell of a gutsy performance by everyone here. Game balls for everybody, but that shit's over. It's on to the next week.
Yeah.
And we got a backup quarterback coming in. So let's rev up that pass rush and get after them. Hawks on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hawks.